Hello.
Good afternoon, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
Thank you.
It's like we're having network issues. Yeah, can we start our class? This one that I'm not seeing participants. Is it my device that is doing that?
From here, I can see 7 people online on the call.
7
Good
people.
morning.
Good morning, class.
Okay, sir, my name is Faya. I'm the class rep for Sustainable Social Development. So we had earlier agreed not to attend today's lecture. So I'm only calling people who are supposed to take this class, who are supposed to join this class to join you. So that's why we have just few persons here. I'm also that the people that choose the elective, they are also few. So you kindly please exercise a little patience that I will allow them to join you as soon as possible, sir.
Okay, but Fayam, let me ask further. The first statement you said you agree not to take the course or what?
No, okay. Sorry, sir. So the HOD had reached out that they were supposed to use our Zoom platform for a training.
Okay.
So yes, sir. So from what I learned, they are using the one for PGD today, and then ours will be used tomorrow.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So, but whatever it is, I will reach out to the HOD and then I will sort it out. Then get back to you as well, sir.
I'm waiting.
Okay. For now,
Thank
let
you
me
very
call
much.
the people.
Thank you very much for that.
That different people can use it. You don't need to stop other people. There's a way you can use the same link and different people connected.
Get back to the number. It's more than what?
The number no, like our area they say they were using the own. When it's possible that I allow you to guide you for something that then you can use the same link for something. There's a way to share it.
Okay. It's on network now. Share your media button.
Recording in progress.
Hello, sir.
Hello, do you?
I've done that, and then I think we can just start.
It's okay. Okay. All right. Pray that God will give us good network. Hello. Hello, good morning, class.
Morning, sir.
Are you people hearing me?
Unmute yourself.
Unmute yourselves and talk to me.
We can hear you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. My earnest prayer is God will help us to send us help from Zion in the name of Jesus Christ. He will help us. We will have stability in network, and He will also grant us understanding. The title of this course is Social Standards and Nigerian Penal System. We'll be taking this course with Dr. Mrs. Stella Nason. Yeah. So I've already shared my slides. Can you see it? Hello, class.
Yes, we can,
Yes,
sir.
we can.
Okay.
Yes, we can see it.
So the course deals with the various institutions established for the correction and rehabilitation of offenders. I believe that you are familiar with such institutions, prisons, detention centers, and other approved schools. It also deals with the history of penological thoughts, particularly the philosophical background of the penal system. By God's grace, we'll be looking at these things. Since we didn't start on time, I shared the slide so you can as well scroll through and see. But one thing is very important because it's divided into two: the continuous assessment and the end of semester examinations. So Mrs. Nason will finally give you the continuous assessment, or we join her our heads together and see how we can come up with a continuous assessment that we can discuss on a later day. So in earnest, I feel we should look at what actually constitutes penal system. Are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
We're
we can
hearing
hear.
you. We're with you.
Good. So when we are talking of penal system, what are we referring to? We are referring to a network of institutions, laws, and processes designed to enforce societal norms and punish individuals who violate them. I said penal system is defined as a network of institutions, laws, and processes designed to enforce societal norms and punish individuals who violate them. You see that in our societies, right from the traditional societies up to this modern society or the modern era, societies have the things they frown at and the things that are cherished. So societies have norms, and these norms are like rules and regulations that permit behavior or the behavioral activities that are allowed and the ones that are disallowed. And right from the traditional society, punishments were enlisted, or they were punishments prescribed for any act that will violate the norms or that deviate from the norms. And as such, societies have a way of punishing the deviants. For instance, sociologically, we talk of incest taboos, especially in African societies and especially in Nigerian societies. If we give a typical example of the thief society, it is not allowed for family members are not allowed to have sexual intercourse. And if a member commits, that amounts to breaking the norm. We call it incest taboo. It's a taboo that somebody should do such a thing. And if that is done, there's a prescribed punishment. In the traditional setting, those who are involved, both the woman and the man, or the brother or the sister, the mother and the son, all of them will be put in one thatch house. Rituals will be committed, and they'll be set ablaze. If they don't run out, they may end up burning. But if they run, the stigma goes with them. And that was part of punishment. So even in the modern societies, we have punishment prescribed for every act that is against the rules and regulations of the society. So that's why generally, penal system is defined as a network of institutions, laws, and processes designed to enforce societal norms and punishing individuals who violate them. The process ranges from investigation, arrest, trial, sentencing, and even correction. Are you following? Any question?
No, sir. You can continue. We are following you.
So the penal system in Nigeria, we can see penal system in Nigeria as a network of all the institutions and even the law, the constitution, and other processes that are involved in punishing an offender when he violates the rules set by the Nigerian society. So we have these institutions and agencies such as the Nigeria Police. Its own responsibility is for investigating crimes and arresting offenders. We also have the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Code. They support the police to maintain law and order. We have Directorate of Public Prosecution. That is the DPP. It's responsible for prosecuting criminal cases. That is not all. We have other institutions like Federal Ministry of Justice, which oversees the administration of justice and provides legal advice. Have the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, which handles drug-related offenses. We also have EFCC. Of course, you might have heard of it of recent, the work that it is doing, even in Benue State and other states. So it investigates and prosecutes financial crimes. We also have the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offenses, ICPC. The work of ICPC is to investigate and prosecute corruption cases. We have another institutions like the Nigerian Correction Service, which manages prisons and rehabilitates offenders. We have the Nigerian Human Rights Commission. It investigates human rights violations in the penal system. We also have the judiciary. This includes the court. Courts are divided into the Supreme Court, the Court of Appeal, the High Court. So their role is to adjudicate criminal cases. Then we have the Legal Aid Council, which provides representation for indigent defendants. Of course, we will not forget to mention the Nigerian Bar, the role that the Nigerian Bar Association does in the penal system. Their aim is to regulate the legal processing and provide inputs on penal reforms. So these institutions and agencies work together to enforce laws, investigate crimes, prosecute offenders, and rehabilitate those convicted. When we mentioned in the definition that penal system is the combination of many institutions working together, we were not lying. These are the institutions that work together to ensure that the penal system works effectively. And it's a system because it's a combination of units. When we talk of system, we are referring to a process where
You buy this one. Buy this big size tissue. You remember the big one. Okay.
hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
We hear you now.
At what point did you follow me?
When
Where
you
did
were
I
talking
leave you?
about the slides, the last slides of the Nigerian Bar Association.
Okay,
The
the
role.
Nigerian Bar Association. So what role does the Nigerian Bar Association play in the penal system? Can somebody answer me?
Yes, according to what you said, is that they participate in making reforms and perfecting the penal code, the penal system of.
The Nigerian penal system is divided into two, but NASWEM is going to deal with those areas. Hello? Can you hear me?
Oh, where are you
We're
going?
hearing you, but the network is fluctuating.
The network is fluctuating. I'm sorry about that. So at any point that you start noticing that, can somebody indicate so that I will see?
Just send a chat.
Or you can send a chat so that I can. You with me? Hello?
Hi.
Yes, I'm trying as much as possible to alternate between devices so that we ensure there's stability in network.
Okay, sir.
Anytime that you notice that there's a fluctuation, just send a chart or make an indication so that I will know that we're having issues with network.
Okay, that's fine.
So we have key concepts in penal system. Should I go ahead?
Yes, sir.
So the key concepts in social standards and Nigerian penal system include penal, the word penal itself. And the word penal is derived from the Latin word penalis and the Greek word pioner, which means punishment.
I'm aware a little challenge. Before I am behind the screen, so we have to either change screen show and go responding. I'm going to type for a particular command. So I don't know in the second time.
Sister Stella.
Okay.
Hello, Doc. Doc, you do us good if you can unmute yourself.
Stella topping our class.
Stella is our lecturer. Hello.
It's okay, sir. It's noted.
Okay. She's the co-lecturer. In fact, she's the boss. So be careful the way you talk. Okay, so the word penal generally describes anything connected or involving punishment, whether for crime or offenses committed. So when we talk about penal system, we're not just referring to crimes. There are also offenses. For instance, you see somebody and you decide to lie against the person. Is that a crime? Hello?
No, sir. It's not a crime. It's an offense.
It is an offense.
Yes, sir.
Okay, what if you see somebody and you decide to stain the person's shirt because the person is looking neat? How can you describe that?
Sir, I think that should be called a criminal assault.
Why is it criminal assault? Are you a policeman? It's police that you always have charges. What is criminal about dating your shirt. Somebody else see you and you're looking at it and just dating your shirt. And do you see? You know, I know that when you have lectures tomorrow with Dr. Stella Nasu, maybe the concept of crime will be dealt with, so that she will tell you the difference between crime and offenses. But that's not where we are going. At least you have an idea of what is offense and what is crime. Sociologically or criminologically, from the criminology point of view, anything called crime is what is established in the court of law that it is crime. It's not what you feel. When the court of law establishes it, that it violates the law of the society or the constitution of any state, then that we can consider it as a crime. But she will handle it tomorrow. So we have concepts like rehabilitation in penal system. The theory of punishment, which rehabilitation is a theory of punishment which focuses on reforming offenders' behavior through programs and treatment so they can become law-abiding citizens. We also have a concept of retribution. You may be seeing or coming in contact with these concepts from time to time in this course, in the course of the lectures. That's why I feel it's appropriate that we define them clearly, so that when you see them, you can understand that, oh, we are referring to this particular thing. The concept of retribution is a punishment theory that focuses on punishing offenders for the harm they caused based on the idea of just deserts. We also have the concept of crime, which is an act or omission that violates a law and is punishable by the state. Are you with me? Hello?
Hi.
Yes, I'm checking on you because of the instability in network. We have concepts like parole. In penal system, is the conditional release of a prisoner from incarceration before their full sentence is served under supervision with specific conditions. You know, an offender can be released, or a prisoner can be released from prison on the condition before he start his or her time will be fully ripe. And this follows some specific conditions. And those on such kind of release, when such kind of release is occurred, it's still a punishment. We call it parole. Then we have probation. Probation is a sentence that allows a convicted person to remain in the community under supervision, often with specific conditions. For example, regular reporting or drug testing. This is also a concept that we may be using from time to time. Then we have the concept of prison. Prison is a state or federal facility for long-term refinement of individuals convicted of more serious crimes. We have the concept of restitution, which also stands for compensation. It's compensating, which is often financial, a compensation paid by an offender to a victim for the harm or loss caused by the crime or offense. So these key concepts are the ones that we may be dealing with from time to time. So we have the social standards that govern the Nigerian penal system. The general social standards governing the Nigerian penal system, they reflect the society's value its understanding of justice, human rights, and the purpose of punishment. So these standards are often enshrined in the national laws or the international conventions, aiming at ensuring that the punishment is not just retributive, but also humane, fair, and conducive to social order and rehabilitation. Hello? Hello, class? Hello? Are we lost?
Oh, we are here. We can hear you, sir.
Okay, you can hear me. So the aim of punishment is not to kill somebody. Punishment is not coming here to condemn the person completely and make the person useless. If I may use the recent, the youth language, it's not to delete somebody. You are not just punishing somebody to buy the person, though there are some offenses that may require death as a penalty or as a punishment. Can somebody give me examples of some offenses that require death as punishment? Hello? Can somebody give me examples of offenses that may require death as punishment?
Committing murder.
Hello, Tekuma. Our class rep. David, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, sir.
David, what kind of punishment and what kind of offense do you think requires death as a punishment?
The murder case, sir.
Murder case. What do you mean by murder case?
And the murder case is when you kill somebody unjustly.
You kill somebody unjustly, not by self-defense. Not that you are defending yourself.
Unjustly, if somebody is murdered. So when you are being taken to court, you can be locked in a prison, sir.
And you may be punished by death.
Yes, sir.
Even in the Constitution prescribes the punishment given that can be meted out to such an individual or such an offender. There are some offenses that the Constitution of the country will say is punishable by death. So the Constitution of the state prescribes the nature of punishment that can be given to any offense. That's why we brought in the issue of Constitution as also a component of the penal system. Penal system cannot operate without the written or unwritten laws of the states. It operates within the confines of the law. So outside of it, those of you that are grammatically strong, you can consider it unconstitutional, right? So the first standard we have in the penal system, which is also observable in Nigeria and elsewhere in the country, is the standard of human dignity and rights. So we can say that this is the cornerstone of any modern penal system. This dictates that even those who have committed crimes, they still retain their fundamental human rights and dignity. For the fact that you have committed crime or you have committed an offense does not mean you don't have rights or you don't have dignity again. So it's an international standard. And the standard maintains that all persons, regardless of their crime, should be treated with respect for their inherent dignity. That is, they have dignity, they have self-respect by birth. It's a right. So this includes protection from torture, cruel, inhuman or degrading treatment or punishment. Any punishment that can degrade any offender, can be so cruel to an offender, can be inhuman. All this violates this standard. They stand against, or they are standing opposite the standard. The standard dictates that everybody, being it an offender or non-offender, if you are accused of any crime and a punishment is to be meted to you, that punishment should also take into cognizance your own rights and your dignity. As a human being, you are not an animal. Hello? Are you there?
Yes, we're here, sir. Can listen to you loud and clear.
Okay. So let's proceed. We have examples available. The United Nations standard for minimum rules for the treatment of prisoners. They are universally accepted baseline for the treatment of prisoners. They outline standards for living conditions, healthcare, food, exercise, contact with the outside world, and disciplinary measures. For instance, Rule 1 states that all prisoners shall be treated with respect due to their inherent dignity and value as human beings. So prisoners shall be subjected to, and all prisoners shall be protected from 1, torture and other cruel behavior, inhuman or degrading treatments or punishments, for which no circumstance whatsoever may be invoked as a justification. This is standard. So if I commit a crime and I'm arrested and I'm detained or I'm charged to court, and court eventually sends me to prison as a punishment, I still have my dignity as a human being, and I also still have my fundamental human rights. If the violation is done, that violation is done against the standard that is set. What do we have obtainable in Nigeria? Even in Nigeria, you notice that in the 1999 Constitution, specifically chapter 4, where the fundamental human rights are stated, prohibits torture, inhuman or degrading treatment. That is section 34. The Nigerian Correction Service Act of 2019 also emphasizes the human rights of inmates. Have you ever come across this document? Hello?
Yeah, hello, sir.
So what is the practice in Nigeria? This is what Nigerian Constitution also specifies, right? So it means that we have that in the Nigerian penal system. However, there are some challenges that we notice. So that despite legal provisions, report of overcrowded prisons, inadequate medical care, insanitary conditions, and allegations of torture or ill-treatment by law enforcement, e.g. police, brutality, and extortion persists. These are direct violations of the human dignity standards. The ongoing issue of awaiting trial persons who may spend years in overcrowded cells without conviction also constitutes a significant human rights concern. Don't you think so? Hello, class.
Absolutely, sir.
Actually, if you are being charged to court and your case was trashed, you know that, okay, I committed this offense in October. The court convicted me in November, and my sentence term is 2 years. So you start calculating from November to the end of the 2 years. It is a situation where you are kept somewhere under the name of awaiting trial. That is ATP. They are awaiting trial. They are awaiting trial persons. They are just there every day. Your status is awaiting trial. You are being awaited for trial. How long? And some people will spend up to 2 years or more waiting for trial. It's also part of the violation of that standard. Should I move on? Or somebody has a question? Hello? Hello, class?
Hello, no questions, sir.
No question.
No.
Intelligent students. The second standard is the standard of rule of law and due process. So a penal system must operate strictly within the confines of established law, as I said earlier, ensuring fairness, predictability, and accountability. The standard here is that no one should be punished except in accordance with the written law that defines the offenses and prescribes the punishment. Everyone is entitled to a fair trial, legal representation, and the right to appeal. So we have examples that are available. For instance, we have the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and the International Convention on Civil and Political Rights enshrined principles like the right to fair trial, presumption of innocence, and legal assistance. In Nigerian Constitution, Section 36 guarantees due process of the same, and I think it's the same chapter we mentioned, due process, including the right to a fair hearing within a reasonable time, the right to legal representation, and presumption of innocence, where we say that every offender is presumed innocent until it is proved beyond every reasonable doubt that the person has committed a crime, that such a person should be seen as a criminal or as an offender. So I want to ask a question here. Are you with me? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Well, with you.
Dakwe.
Sir,
Dakwe, nice to hear from you.
I am hearing from you, sir.
I say it's nice to hear from you.
Thank you, my my dog.
So the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, ACJA 2015, further reinforces these principles, aiming at reducing trial days and ensuring speedy dispensation of justice. What are the challenges we have about this standard in Nigeria? One of the challenges we have in Nigeria concerning this standard number 2, is delays in trial, often leading to prolonged detention of the ATPs, people awaiting trials. Also, access to quality legal aid is limited for many, particularly the poor. Sometimes the poor may not have people that may be available to assist them or to represent them. An ordinary person may not be able to, may find it difficult to understand the legal jargons. Am I correct? Hello? Hello.
Hi.
Is it easy to understand the legal language? Sometimes they say somebody has pleaded guilty, and another one will say somebody has pleaded not guilty. So I have a story that there's one local man who came from Darkness village. I will not mention the person's name because you know. And people were just making gist of him that he committed an offense. He did not commit any offense. They had a fight. So they were taken to court. And the case was read out. And they asked him, guilty or not guilty? So the man said, guilty got me. What did I do to the person? Are you there?
We're there. We're there. We're there, sir.
Will you agree with me that he was from your community? The man said, guilty got me, meaning that which not guilty.
Please, can you call Matthias? I want to understand why this volume is not. Brother Matthias, can you?
Hello? Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah. So cases of arbitrary arrest, detention beyond legal limits without charge, and lack of transparency in judicial processes can undermine the rule of law. So this is a violation of the standards. Standard number 2 that we mentioned before. We also have this standard of non-discrimination. It is expected that justice should be blind to social status, economic background, gender, ethnicity, religion, so on and so forth, or any other personal attributes. That is the reason why if you see this statue that is always in the law court, they will blindfold that lady. It's an indication that the law is not visible to our own status. The law does not recognize our status, does not recognize our personal attributes, whether you are a professor, you are a banker, or whatsoever. The law doesn't recognize all those things. And the standard is that the penal system must apply laws and administer justice impartially without discrimination. That is the international standard, and the standard that's supposed to govern every penal system. And it's the standard that is also governing the Nigerian penal system. For instance, we always talk of the Nelson Mandela rule, which rebukes all forms of discriminations on the grounds of race, color, sex, language, religion, political or other opinions, natural or social origin, property, birth, or any other status. But what do we have in Nigeria? Even in Nigeria, the Nigerian laws generally aim at fighting discrimination. Why the laws generally aim at non-discrimination, the dual panel code that we have, penal code rather, penal code system that we have in the country, where criminal code is in the south and the penal code is in the north. We notice that it brings a kind of discrimination and disparity in treatment of similar offenses. The kind of treatment that will be meted to an offender under the criminal code, which operates in the southern part of the country, and the same and in the penal code, which is in the northern part, which usually incorporates the elements of Sharia law, may be different. And there are some instances where the rich receive their treatment different from the poor. A poor man who steals just a chicken will have a 2-year jail term, whereas a rich man that stole billions of naira, sometimes we just get 1 month as a term. Even when it comes to fine, if you recall that case of the person that stole pension money, how much fine was given to him? But supposing that man was an ordinary farmer or a wheelbarrow pusher, I think his imprisonment would have been life imprisonment for doing that kind of committing that heinous offense. So in Nigeria, we still also have that enshrined in our constitution, and it's part of the standards-based. There are instances where we see that geographical location and religious affiliation sometimes may bring disparity. For instance, further examples are that the punishment for moral offenses might be different or more severe under the penal code than under the criminal code, where somebody mentions the name of a particular god or a particular person or a prophet, so on and so forth, and the person will be stoned to death, or the person's hand may be amputated. That you can find in one part of the country, and the same prophet, if he's insulted in the other part of the country, things will still go on normal. There'll be no violence, there'll be no prosecution, there'll be no punishment. So this shows that there are some disparities, and the challenges we have in the country, particularly when this standard is taken into consideration, is allegations of cash and carry justice we have in the judicial system. For instance, financial inducement. This suggests that economic status can heavily influence access to access to justice and even the outcomes. Do you agree with me? Hello?
Yes, we agree with you, sir. And it's on that note that I don't know whether you will permit me to ask a question.
Yes, you can ask the question.
Hello, sir.
Yes, you can go ahead.
With all this that you have said so far, yes, with all this that you have advanced so far, what are the factors that are responsible for these challenges? Because all these things that we're talking about are contained in our constitution and in our other articles of law, as we were told in the Nigerian legal system. But why is it that these things are only in theory? they are not being practiced?
That's a good question. And I think the question has been asked to the whole class. It's not just me. Why are we not following the standards? The standards are established. The penal system has the standard, and Nigeria also has the standards, social standards concerning or regarding the penal system. But why is it that the practice is not as the stipulations that are available? If you may ask me, number one, I will mention corruption as one of the reasons. And number two, as human beings, we have attachments, we have affiliations. It may be ethnic in nature, it may be religious in nature, it may be political. So sometimes such affiliations may prevail over the standards that are set. Sometimes financial inducements, which is under corruption. So does that answer your question? And sometimes the political will power. Something that's supposed to be right is there. The people that can lead the process of doing the right thing may not be there. For instance, if you know that in academics, cheating is a crime, right? Do you agree with me that cheating is a crime against the institution in question and against the society?
Yes, it is.
Why is it
We agree with you, sir.
Why is it that when people are caught cheating and you want to prosecute them, you want to report them to the exam misconduct committee or exam irregularities committee, the colleagues of that students, the parents, the friends, even politicians that are related to that particular candidate, they will come begging, and sometimes they issue threats. And if people submit to it that just pardon it, temper justice with mercy. Have you not heard that kind of plea? I believe that that plea is there, and people will be begging on you on the behalf of the offender, which they will know very well that the person has committed an offense that is dangerous or inimical to the development of that institution and inimical to the development of the society. You discover that some people have cheated their ways out of school. They started cheating from 100 level and they graduated with it. Some even at the master's and PhD level, they still cheated and they become lecturers. And they're in the system now. What do you think they can offer? You see, they have the damage. And unfortunately, these cheats that we're talking about here, whether we like it or not, they are going to teach our children. So what are they going to teach? But if you want to treat them the way the Constitution has stipulated, as you earlier mentioned, the same people will say, no, they are too harsh, you are too hard, you should temper justice with mercy and all those things. Where is the justice in it? So if we must change the system or we must adhere strictly to the standards, we have to prepare ourselves to face the drums. Okay, let's continue because our time is going. So challenges we have concerning this standard is the fact that in Nigeria, we have so many allegations of cash and carry justice. I mentioned before. You notice that when a poor man commits an offense, the offense will go with him. But a rich man can induce or influence the outcome of the judgment with his naira or with dollars, and things may change. There are also criticisms regarding how certain provisions of the penal code, particularly those influenced by the Sharia law, may disproportionately affect women or religious minorities in the country. I will add a little speed down because I want us to finish this. Hello? 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 Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. I said that I will add a little speed to our discussion now because I want us to finish these standards before we'll see what can happen. And I want us to finish it within the time that our meeting is running. I think our meeting is just 2 hours. The number 4 standard is proportionality of punishment. Proportionality of punishment. This standard specifies that the severity of the punishment should be proportionate to the gravity of the crime or the offense committed. So punishment should not be excessively harsh or lenient, but it should fit the crime and take into account the mitigating and aggravating circumstances. So in Nigeria, the Nigerian legal codes specify ranges of punishment for various offenses. For example, murder often carries death sentence, though rarely carried out, while minor theft might result in a fine or a short prison time. I think it's practiced in Nigeria. But what are the challenges surrounding it? There are certain concerns arise with some aspect of penal code where certain punishments such as stoning or amputation, which are really, if ever, formally implemented by the state courts, are often condemned internationally, are seen as disproportionate and cruel. You notice, if you may recall very well, one lady, I don't want to mention her name so that I cannot generate a kind of emotions and maybe agitations. A lady was stoned to death not too long in the country, and in the northern part of the country. And even in our own country, in the southern part, or even in the north central here, we see situations where we can just quickly rush at an offender. We assume that the person is an offender, and the next thing is to see young people coming with petrol to unleash terror on the person. Have you heard of the concept of jungle justice? Hello?
Yes, we have had it before.
How appropriate is jungle justice when you place it side by side with the penal standards or the social standards in the penal system?
Yes,
does jungle justice have any room or any space in the Nigerian penal system?
No, it's not there.
But
it's
why
not
is
there.
it practiced? I watched a movie of recent where a young man perhaps might have had a label. You know, the labeling theory specifies that it takes just once for somebody to be labeled as a criminal. You commit an offense and you are labeled. So this young man visited this woman in her shop, and the woman counted money and kept on the counter, and just concluded that the young man was the one that stole the money since she couldn't see the money. But it wasn't the case. It was her daughter that saw the money at the counter, kept carelessly, and the daughter picked the money. So before the young man could defend himself, the youths that were waiting, the idle youths, they ran iron, and they became very angry just to get petrol and set the young man ablaze. Hello?
Yes, sir.
And it was in the process of the young man was about giving out his ghosts that the daughter returned from the market and asked why people gathered. He said they stole her mother's money. And the young lady said, no, she was the one that picked the money and kept it in a safe place. It's not that young man. But the young man was already set ablaze. So what will happen now that the people discover that the young man was not responsible for the crime? What will you do? That's why jungle justice and these other disproportionate punishments that are not within the stipulated punishments that our constitution made available are not advisable to carry out. So as our apostles, or as apostles of social standards, you need to preach against this in your communities. Whenever you are opportune to be available, do not allow people to carry out jungle justice in a case that they are not certain. Even if they are certain, it is not proper for them to take laws into their hands. It is not within their powers to mete out punishment. There is a body that is constitutionally responsible for giving out punishment. Of course, if we are talking about it generally, sociologically, we have institutions that serve as institutions of social control, and it starts right from the family. You notice that even in the family, it's not everybody that can give punishment to the offenders as family members. Do you agree? The father and the mother are more responsible for punishing the offenses committed by the children. So sometimes the elder sibling has the right or the powers to discipline the younger ones. You also notice another challenge. These long pretrial detentions can result in individuals serving terms longer than they would have received if convicted, thus undermining the concept of proportionality or the standard of proportionality. Do you agree with me? Hello? The fifth standard is the standard of rehabilitation and reintegration. Beyond punishment, the penal system should aim at reforming offenders and facilitate their successful return to the society. The standard here specifies that penal institutions should provide opportunities for education, vocational training, psychological support, and social skills. Social skill development to help offenders become law-abiding citizens. For instance, in Nigerian Correctional Service Act of 2019, it is explicitly stated that there's a shift in paradigm, that the focus should shift from mere prison to correctional service, highlighting rehabilitation and reintegration. So the National Correction Service aims at providing skills acquisition programs and educating offenders, and as well counseling them. It is already there in the constitutional provisions, in the provisions of that act. But the challenges we have with this in Nigeria is the fact that the effectiveness of these programs is often hampered by overcrowding, understaffing, and inadequate funding. And sometimes many inmates leave correctional facilities without having received any meaningful rehabilitation, contributing to high recidivism rates. Do you understand the concept of recidivism? A situation where an offender who is convicted and served a jail term returns back to the crime instead of leaving the crime and being rehabilitated. There is a tendency for him to go back and do even more, becoming more chronic, more hardened in committing the crime. It's as if he perfects the way, or he has perfected the ways or methods of carrying out that crime while in prison. But it's not supposed to be so. Then we have issues of social stigma associated with incarceration, making integration very difficult. You know, I think it's in the constitution, in our own constitutional provision, that there are particular positions that ex-convicts should not occupy. Hello? Hello? Hello, are you with me?
Yes, we are listening to you.
There are some positions, political positions, that an ex-convict will not be allowed to contest. Is it true? If it is true, then what is the essence of the corrections? I think they sent somebody to the correction center for the person to be corrected, to be rehabilitated, and also to be reintegrated into the society. But in a situation where the society stigmatizes those that are being sent to the correctional centers as ex-convict and are not eligible to contest for some political positions, is questionable. And I think it's a violation of that social standard. Anyways, my thoughts. So if we think different, we have time to argue it out. The sixth standard I want us to consider is the standard of gender and age sensitivity. Recognizing that different demographics have unique needs and vulnerabilities within the penal system. These standards separate facilities for men and women, special provisions for mothers with infants, and a distinct juvenile justice system. But do we have that in practice? One example that I can cite here is the backup rule or rules, the UN rules for treatment of women prisoners and non-custodial measures for women offenders. This Bangkok rule provides specific guidelines for female inmates. And even in Nigerian law, the Nigerian law generally mandates the separation of male and female inmates. I've never been to a correction service facility to ascertain this, but the law provides for that. And there are provisions for juvenile offenders to be held in both institutions or remand homes separate from the adult prisons and the adult prisons. What is the challenge that we have in Nigeria concerning these standards? While separation generally occurs, facilities for female inmates are often less developed, and the specific needs of women, for instance, menstrual hygiene, reproductive health, trauma support are frequently underserved. In addition, the juvenile justice system also faces challenges of inadequate infrastructure and staff, and sometimes leading to juveniles being held in adult facilities. It's a worry. You notice that women have peculiar needs. Their needs are not same with us. So keeping women prisoners with the male prisoners or male prisoners, that is female and males, just lumping them together is not proper. The same thing with the juvenile, that is the young offenders, those that are below the adult age. And you know, the constitution of the country specifies the age that somebody will reach before can be considered as an adult. And when the person is below that age, because of lack of facilities available, or maybe funds to take care of such group or category of human beings, you just lump them together in one prison facility or correction facility rather. It becomes very difficult. And it's like exposing them to more harm or danger and putting the society at risk. The younger ones may copy from this, let me say, the hardened ones who are adults. There are some people that made up their mind not to change at all. So if the young people are exposed to them, they will be exposed to more dangerous ways of committing crime. And they will be exposed to more serious crimes, more heinous crimes. And they also learn. And you know that children copy what they see easily. They are likely to copy from these offenders that are adults or they are older. Then we have the final. Besides, I want to add here the issue of women as well. You notice that there's something that has been bothering me. Most times, people violate the rights of their wives, husbands. And I don't know whether Dr. Stella, if she's listening to me, there is any constitutional provision that prohibits this, rather than the mere discipline that is stated. When a man beats his wife, he will come under the cover of discipline, that he's only disciplining his wife. And vice versa. There are some women that beat their husbands up, and they will simply frame it under defense mechanism. That is, they were only defending themselves. So, where is the place of this standard in those acts? Where do we place those acts now? Are you with me? Hello? Hello, Takwe?
We're hearing you, sir.
That way, if you beat your wife, does the Nigerian Constitution specify a punishment that should be given to you?
Well, specifically, it cannot be outlined, but when we come to the issue of domestic violence, I think that is where it finds its place.
Okay. But what if the person denies that he was only disciplining his wife? It wasn't a violent act. Defining violent acts is another thing. No, these concepts are vague. And what constitutes a violent act in one location or one society may not be the same with another society. Well, let's leave that matter for Matthias for now. Let's round up.
Excuse me, sir, and for that, I may like to ask a question. I had wanted to ask, why is it that in the southern part of Nigeria, they practice the criminal code? And why is it that we in the north, we apply both the criminal and the penal code? I wanted to ask for this clarification. Why are we practicing both the criminal and penal code in the northern part of Nigeria, why the southern part are practicing only the criminal code? For example, we can sue here for trespass.
It's a very good question. I think our lecture on the history of the Nigerian penal system will shed more light on that question. Why? That is developed as a lecture of its own, and it's under the history of the Nigerian penal system. So either Dr. Nassim or I, if we are handling it, we can show clearly why the penal system of the country is dual in nature. We explain the dualization or the reasons for this dual penal code and why it is so. Is that clear? For now, our time is almost up. So let's treat the last standard which are prepared for this class as accountability and oversight. The penal system must be subjected to external and internal oversight to ensure adherence to standards and address grievances. What is the standard here? The standard specifies that there should be a mechanism for prisoners to lodge complaints, for independent bodies to inspect facilities, and for staff to be held accountable for misconduct. Examples are that independent oversight bodies, ombudsmen, and regular inspection by human rights organizations should be carried out. They are all recommended to be part of the penal system to check the shortcomings, check the excesses. What is the practice in the country? Hello? Are you there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
The Non-Corruption Act of 2019 introduces provisions for non-custodial measures and emphasizes oversight. The National Human Rights Commission and various civil society organizations regularly visit correctional facilities and report on conditions of these facilities. So it is also obtainable in the country. It is also practicable in the nation's penal system. However, there are challenges associated with it in Nigeria. Although the mechanism exists, their effectiveness is often limited by lack of resources, political interferences, and even inadequate enforcement of the recommendations. Recommendations may be made or might be made, but enforcing them becomes a matter. So sometimes you see the civil society organizations may raise eyebrows and they may mention or raise some issues. For instance, if you see what the Amnesty International is doing, they don't have the powers to enforce that. It is the nation state that has the power to enforce it. So therefore, they lack the powers of enforcement. They can only mention at best. Then corruption within the system can also impede effective accountability. Actually, for us to see the accountability there clearly, the corruption, the level of corruption has to be dealt with. Given the nature of corruption in our nation or in our country, sometimes it will be very difficult to see the effectiveness of that accountability in place. Thank you. Any question? Gerard? Is there any question?
For me, there's no question for now, sir.
Is there any contribution? Does anybody have a comment? Hello, do we have Dr. Nasson with us? Hello, Dr. Nasson.
Yes, I'm here.
Dr. Nasson, this
Can
is
you
where
hear
we feel like
me?
this where we feel like stopping today, except you have any addition.
Okay, yes, I'm around. Are you hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you now. Do you have any comment to make?
Okay, no, not for now.
All right.
No, for
The
now.
students were asking why we have dual
I think for now, my okay, we get to treat that as time goes on. I think my only observation at this moment is there should be more participation from the class.
Yes.
I don't want to believe that many people logged on and they went away.
They just left our way alone.
Yes, he's the only one asking questions, he's the only one responding. So I'm a bit suspicious. So maybe subsequently we have to get more people involved by, pointing at them to make comment, to ask questions, so that they will participate.
Yes.
We want to really encourage participation. So we are discouraging the idea of people logging on and leaving to go and do other activities. I think that's my observation from day one. And I think I want to particularly appreciate Takwe for his concentration. He has proven that he's been attentive, he's following the lecture, he's making inputs, and I want to encourage other members of the class to do same. Thank you.
I want to seek your permission to award him 5 bonus marks. That can be included in his CA. When it is time for CA, the 5 bonus marks will be included. In face-to-face classes, I used to give those bonuses and I record them. It's a way of encouraging class participation. You know,
I think
Nigerians.
I think that's a welcome development. So that right from day one, members of the class will appreciate participation in class, because that is very key. You know, any student that's not available, it will reflect during exams.
And we also appreciate the fact that the assessment is continuous.
Yes.
Hello, sir.
It also appreciate the fact that the assessment is continuous. It's not just at a sport exercise.
Okay, somebody's hand is up.
Okay.
Yeah, David.
Hello, sir.
David, come up.
Sir, I was the one that answered your first question. So forgotten mean is equal to jungle justice.
Okay, now I think the promise to award marks has activated participation.
Yes, and I was the one that answered the first question. So leaving me out is the same thing to jungle justice.
Okay, David.
Sir.
David, thank God that you have resurrected now.
Yes.
At a point, you were lost. And you let Takpe alone for a long time. Yeah. That's why we couldn't see your hand, we could not see your voice, and we feel that it is good to appreciate Takpe with 5 bonus marks. So let's see, in our next meeting tomorrow, if your participation is also active like that of Takpe, you will go home with 5 bonus marks.
Okay, sir.
So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
I think our time is up.
Yes, I think so.
Dr. Naswan, thank you for your support.
You're welcome. Although, let me make this observation or announcement. I was in touch with the head of department who informed me that tomorrow's class may not hold, that they have a departmental engagement, which may entail shifting one of the lectures to Saturday. That has not officially been communicated on the platform, but he told me so. So we wait for that official announcement. If it comes up, if it does not, then maybe they have shared it, but he told me that himself this morning. So let's look out for such information. If it turns out that the engagement will take the place of lecture, then that means that our lectures will extend to Saturday. Won't hold tomorrow. It will extend to Saturday to make up the 5 days. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. So bye.
All right. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Doc.
Enjoy your stay. That way you've forgotten about me. Nice to see you here.
I was in your office last week, sir. I was in your office last week, sir, but you were not on seat.
Yeah, reporting me to my employer.
I came to your office. I came to your office with Chinta, but he wasn't.
Why didn't you call me?
Sorry, sir, that was a mistake.
Okay, thank you. See you next time.
Thank you, sir.